Hey guys, Ashley here from Mention My Mom, and today we are taking a look at the Inovelli Fan and Light Switch Red Series. So now that we have it out of the box, we see the metal face frame that their other switches have had. Their buttons have a good feel to them, and we can see the dimmer lights that are on the side. Flipping the switch over, we see that again it has a pigtail style connection. Our ground is up on the top with our neutral and load-in line on the sides. Next in the box, we have the RF transmitter. On one side is the antenna and the other side is the wiring for it. Printed on the receiver is what each wire does so that you have it readily available when you go to put this up. One thing to note about the receiver is its size. If you have a small canopy, it might not fit too well, so do keep that in mind. Then in the bottom of the box, we have your standard stuff, our face plates that come with it, the neutral wire jumper that you will need along with some zip ties. We have some paperwork with our security codes and our thank you letter. There's also the cheat sheet, which is very handy to have on the back. Last but not least, we have our instructions along with our wiring schematic. So definitely take a look at this before you get started so that you are aware of what limitations you may or may not have. Now that we got everything out of the box, let's go ahead and take a look at the tools we are going to need to get this job done. Don't forget, very important, always kill the power before you ever do any electrical. So with the power off, we're going to check to make sure that we're good, and then go ahead and remove the faceplate and the previous switch. So now that we have the old switch off and the wires exposed, we can go ahead and start to connect everything to our Inovelli Red Series switch. Now that we have it hooked in and put back into the wall, we can go ahead and put our faceplate back on and move on to the next step in this project, which is the fan canopy. To do this, we have to completely remove the fan. So we started with the light and the shade. Now we're going to move on to taking off the fan blades. Once those are off, it allows us to get to our canopy cover, which we have to remove in order to expose all the wiring and the motor. Again, just to be on the safe side, we're going to check to make sure that the power is off, and then go ahead and get started with removing the motor and the wiring. Alright, so now we got our ground, our hot, and our neutral. Let's go ahead and get this transmitter hooked up. The neutral is going to connect to the box, whereas the hot goes up already, and we have our light and fan that need to be hooked up. The box, again, kind of big, so you might have to find a way to mount it so that it doesn't hit your motor. I just zip tied mine to the frame, put the canopy back on, and put the fan back together. Now that we have it all back together and the power on, let's take a look at the switch and how it acts. You will need to add the device handler, which has been shown in another video and on their website, but we are going to look to see how it is in the app once that is installed. So once we get in here, you can see how much power it's using, control the light dimming and the fan dimming, turn it on and off, see what its status is. We can also go into the settings and just see how many settings that Inovelli has really added into this. Now, one of the nice parts is that you can use the notification bar to give you notifications from other things, and the fan and the light switch ones are independent, so you can have multiple notifications going on at once. Also, again, using Hoops, how it transfers over into HomeKit, you can see that I can control it as a fan or as a switch. Yes, I do know we have a spelling error, so let's go ahead and correct that while we're here. If it didn't transfer over the way you want it to, you can change what it displays as, and here you can see that it is transferred over from SmartThings. So again, this is the fan and light switch Red Series by Inovelli.